Hey everybody, it's Max J. Miller, co-author with Robert Hollis of the upcoming How Is That Working? Yesterday I shared with you the experience of, as I called it, exile. The experience of, when you really decide to break out from the pack, the actual moment-by-moment experience of that can be very alienating, and one can feel like you no longer belong, and there's a lot of stuff that can come up for a person about that. And I was sharing, that I was wondering what people were thinking of me, and that's the downside. But here's the exciting part about all of that: when the hero or would-be hero leaves, one place, they've been related to as a certain person. But the hero's journey is a journey of transformation. It's an opportunity, really, to be reinvented. Part of the process in the other world experience is a process of self-discovery. You may recall, as I was talking about, that we become like a fish out of water. And a fish out of water for the first time discovers what water is. And just like that, the human being taken out of their familiar environment begins to see how that environment is shaping them, and how the dynamic of their interaction with that environment has kept them being a certain way, because the expectations of that community are powerful. So, you've had this experience before that you wish that people would give you a chance to become somebody other than how they interact with you and how they relate to you. If you've set up a pattern, and yes, we feel guilty and shame and all of this, if you've set up a pattern in your life. I think the most extreme examples, of course, are addicts, or people who have fallen, so to speak, many times in life, so that their trust is broken, and they think, well, now that I'm back on my feet, I wish I could somehow restore trust. And what there is at that point, at that moment, is the opportunity to transform one's own story. But here's the exciting part. The ones who will buy into a new story and give you a break and give you a chance are the new friends and the new community. Those are the people that you don't have to, build those bridges with. You don't have to make up for what's lost. And this is the really exciting part about the hero's journey: is you're in a new world, and you're developing relationships with a new group of people who are now willing to relate to you as you say. It's actually just this whole new opportunity for reinventing. And if who you are being in that moment is defined by a whole new level of commitment to certain values, that's how they'll relate to you, and they'll give you the space to be that. And so the hero's journey in this adventure may involve, as I was discussing yesterday, the experience. It will inevitably involve the experience of being somewhat cut off from your past, from your community, from relationships. And that's not, forever necessarily, but it feels like a death. And Joseph Campbell said, in fact, it is like a death. You become, like he said, like waste to that community when you separate yourself. But when you have completed the cycle, when you've actually established yourself from your experience in the transformative experience in this new world and the new experience, you can go back and also assert your new identity in your old community as well. They'll listen to you having made that journey. Why? Because you have a story to tell about the process that you've been through. And quite honestly, everybody loves a redemption story. We will make people work very hard before we buy into it, but we all love the story of somebody who has fallen and got up again and triumphed. So that, and that's just, one example, but when you have gone through a learning process, rediscover yourself, reinvent yourself, and achieve something with that new vision of who you are and what your life is about, you have every opportunity to go back and share that story with people such that they now relate to you in a whole new way. Oh, that was John, and they'll tell the story. Once upon a time, John was this and this and this, but he got a vision and went to work and got a mentor, changed his life, turned it around. He's such an example in the community now, and so forth and so on. People love that redemptive story. But it's interesting that it works because we're able to build new alliances, new friendships, and share ourselves as newly reinvented. These are my values, this is what I'm committed to, this is the vision that I'm operating from, this is the difference that I want to make in the world. And they will relate, they'll give us space to relate to us as that, until we prove otherwise. But they'll give us that, they'll grant us that space to be that for a time. Whereas that's a pretty hard row to hoe with a group that already knows us as, oh, that's Johnny, he's, and they've got you all pegged in a box, he's this way and this way and this way, and they've got all their judgments and assessments, and perhaps rightly so, but it's limiting, and it's a very confining experience. And sometimes this is the very motivation that drives an individual into their hero's journey, their process of discovery and transformation. At any rate, that's the good news about that experience of being cut off from this group or this community and discovering and establishing a new community in which I can be a new person and relate in a new way. Thanks for listening. Thanks for tuning in and interacting with me. Keep telling your story. Bye-bye for now.